and welcome to this week's episode of Coast News. And as always, got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Drayton Manor have confirmed that Gold Rush will officially be opening on the 26th of July this year. And this is actually, to me, this was quite an unexpected opening day. I thought it'd be opening later than that, maybe in like mid-August or something. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, Gold Rush is a brand new intimate family lift and launch coaster that is opening at Drayton Manor next Friday, I believe it is, on the 26th of July. It's been in sort of the pipeline for quite a while now. I believe it was first mentioned like start of last year, where they confirmed they will be building a brand new roller coaster and there will be a family thrill coaster, but weren't really given much more details. Details started to emerge like gradually over time, not from word of mouth by the park though, purely because when vertical construction started, we sort of knew what the layout was going to be and how innovative it's going to be, because it is going to be quite a weird experience and very technologically advanced attraction. Now, after its official announcement, they confirmed it was going to be an intimate family lift and launch coaster, and that the ride experience was going to vary depending on what time of day you rode it. Now, we didn't know what they meant by that, but as we saw with the vertical construction of like the layout, whatnot, and the slow realization it was going to be western beamed, and the fact they had not one but two switch tracks on different parts of the ride, one at the beginning of the launch, and one at the base of the lift hill, just after the pre-lift hill section, which looked very strange. It looks like it was going to be like the lift hill was going to act as both a lift hill and a backwards spike, and it's going to have a backwards launch and everything. And because it's got those two switch tracks, it's got different ride modes that it can use, because it's been tested on different types of cycles. So it can be, so that I suppose that what is the element about it'll vary depending on what time of day you ride it. Now, we had no idea when this was going to open. Vertical construction on the actual ride itself started back in January of this year, and it got completed in about 4 weeks. It's not a huge attraction, but I've also still got like a lot of theming to do. Testing took ages to actually start. The actual land is in Frontier Falls, opened back in, I think it was late March or April, with the other rethemed attractions, with this being the headline attraction opening next week, finally on 26th of July. I honestly thought it was going to open in like mid-August, because they'd only just announced the name of the ride, Gold Rush, literally like last week. But now it is officially opening on the 26th of July, and I kind of wait to see what Drayton Manor have done with their first new roller coaster in 12, 13 years, I think it is. I kind of wait to see what it's like. In other news today, King's Dominion have officially begun construction on their brand new B&M Wing Coaster. Now, we can pretty much say that this ride is actually happening because it's being built. It's no longer just a rumour. It's finally happening, and it's opening. Hopefully, if you know what I'm talking about, basically, King's Dominion is a theme park located in Virginia in the USA. It is owned by Six Flags Entertainment Corporation, which, as we all know, used to be Six Flags and Cedar Fair. In King's Dominion's case, it was owned by Cedar Fair. Then the two companies merged and became Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. It's home to various different roller coasters, including Intimidator 305, which is infamous for being one of the most intense roller coasters on the planet. And their most recent coaster, apart from an S&S 4D free spin, the most recent major coaster was Twisted Timbers, which was an RMC hybrid coaster. And obviously, since then they've had like the S&S 4D free spin attraction, which opened in 2022. But ever since they removed a roller coaster known as Volcano the Blast Coaster, which was an Intamin launched inverter coaster, which I believe was the first and only full circuit inverter launch coaster at the time. That got removed in 2019, and there was so much speculation of what could possibly replace it. And there was rumours for many, many years that there was going to be like a big, huge new attraction, mainly like a wing coaster. In fact, I believe in 2019 there were like sort of leaked plans for a wing coaster to go on the former site of Volcano the Blast Coaster. That was a couple of years ago, and those plans were sort of forgotten over time. But it seems they have now resurfaced, because not only has there been B&M track spotted on the site over the last sort of few weeks, but they've even started teasing it on their social medias I believe they're expected to make an announcement about this new attraction on the 31st of July, and vertical construction's even started on this massive attraction. Like, it's going to be, I believe it's going to be a launched wing coaster. So I think it's going to be the third ever launched wing coaster from B&M. And we know that one element is going to be an inverted top hat, which looks very interesting, and it's on the wing coaster as well. It's probably going to be a big attraction as well. Now, we don't really know much else about the layout of the attraction. We know it's probably going to have like a jungle theme because it's in a sort of jungle area. We'll probably find out more details on the 31st of July. We'll probably even get like an animated POV or something of this new attraction. And it looks really cool. I'm so glad they're finally finding hopefully a worthy successor to Volcano the Blast Coaster, because that was a fan favourite attraction and so many people loved it and they were sad to see it go. So hopefully this will be a worthy replacement. Also in the news today, Liseberg in Sweden have confirmed that they have now been given permission to rebuild the Oceana water park. And I'm so glad that this project is still going ahead after the tragic incident that occurred a few months ago, where there was a large fire on the upcoming water park. If you know what I'm talking about, basically Liseberg is an amusement park located in Sweden. It's one of the most famous amusement parks in Europe. And they're they're also one of the biggest as well. They're sort of expanding to become like a large resort as well. They're building a new hotel, which I believe opened either this year or last year. I can't remember when it was. And they're also expanding their lineup by building a new indoor water park, which was announced a couple of years ago, I believe, called Oceana. And construction was well underway until a few months ago, a large fire took place on the, like, it was absolutely massive. It was huge. And it was very tragic. So much damage was caused, and unfortunately one person, presumably a construction worker, lost their life, which was incredibly sad. And we didn't really hear much about it for months. It's been months since that whole fire incident happened. But thankfully they've actually come out and said they've been given permission to continue and rebuild the whole water park. So that is actually really good. I'm glad they've not scrapped the attraction in any way. I'm glad that they're still going ahead with like the construction of it. I believe it was supposed to open at the end of this year. That will obviously be delayed. It's probably going to be open at the start of the next year or something. But either way, it still looks to be a very ambitious project. It's going to be amazing for Liseberg. It's going to bring a lot more guests into the park. Because now they've got a brand new attraction that's separate to the theme park. They've got a water park. That's going to bring in a large variety of other visitors in. And with it being indoors as well, it'll be good all year round, even during the winter. So that'll be excellent to see. And like I said, this just proves how determined they are to continue, basically just to not give up, to continue with what they were doing no matter what is thrown at them. Yes, this fire happened, and yes, it was tragic. That's not going to stop them from building this, I presume it's multi-million-pound investment. And it's going to be absolutely amazing when it does open. Like I said, I don't think we know an official opening date yet, but I presume it's going to be the start of next year when Oceana does open to the public at Liseberg in Sweden. And finally in the news today, and something very different that we don't usually talk about on the Coaster News, Frontier have confirmed that Planet Coaster 2 will be officially released in autumn 2024. And we have been waiting for this game to come out for so long. Honestly, we just needed it, like, especially for how long Planet Coaster 1 has been out and what a massive impact that game had. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, the predecessor to this game that I'm talking about, Planet Coaster, is a like sort of tycoon game created by Frontier Developments. It was originally released in 2016 on PC. And it became very popular for its it was very like innovative at the time for like being an amazing video game, like with like its realistic graphics, and there's so many possibilities in that game to build various different types of attractions and theme parks and different amusement rides. And it's obvious, and it spawned like such a huge community for the game as well. Including myself, I play it quite a lot, and it's been absolutely amazing. And it came to console in 2020, but since then, other than Planet Zoo, which is a spin-off game technically, where you build your own zoo, we've not really had much from the Planet Coaster franchise much. But then sort of like for the past couple of years, there have been rumours of, oh, when could Planet Coaster 2 come out? Frontier are going to announce it next week. What new rides could we expect? And then finally, they actually announced it a few days ago, officially, that Planet Coaster 2 was coming this autumn. We don't know what the release date is yet, they haven't confirmed the release date. But it'll be coming this autumn to PC and console, specifically new generation consoles. So PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S consoles. And we don't know everything about the game. We know quite a few key details. The major selling point that they've got with this game is that you'll be able to build water park attractions as well, which is absolutely phenomenal. This is such an amazing feature. It's much like the Soaked DLC for Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 back in the day, and they're basically bringing that up, but sort of like a modern version of that, which looks absolutely insane. There are other details we know about as well, including we're getting a version of the B&M Surf Coaster in this game, and there's also rumours that there'll be a lot more advanced options to build scenery and set pieces, including like a scale tool where you'll be able to scale individual pieces to like the size that you want it to, which is going to be absolutely insane. There's also a new version of the sequencing tool as well that you'll be able to add to ride sequences, which is just going to be amazing, because the current version of the sequencer on rides is good, but it could be a lot easier to use. So hopefully this will be a lot better. As well as that, there's also obviously going to be different other attractions that we don't know about, various different like operation changes as well, and even some different like theming pieces, lots of new theming pieces and attractions. And overall, Planet Coaster 2 looks absolutely phenomenal, and they're expected to reveal more details. I believe it's also on the 31st of July, where they're going to reveal, I think, gameplay footage as well, so stay tuned for that. And I cannot wait to see Planet Coaster 2 when it comes out later this year. So that is it for this week's episode of Coast News. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like and subscribe, and comment if you would like to see in the next video.